Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies here at RacinSportsZone.com. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer, AM 1250 and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee, weekday afternoons from 2 until 6. He is Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times. Time to do a little Bucks talk. I don't even know. Well,
honest to God, as long as I've known you, going back to
we've known each other since
the
1999.
The George Washington era.
Yeah.
I have never seen you at a loss of words. That's unbelievable. You took 3 seconds there to figure out what you were going to say.
I'm just so
upset.
No, disappointed. I think that's the word. Not upset. I was angry last night with 27 turnovers in the game. That made me angry. I mean, you have all those turnovers in first. You come back with Middleton at point guard of all people, and then you give the game right back in the fourth quarter with a dozen turnovers. Mm-hmm. That made me mad, yes. But just overall with this season, I'm just so disappointed as to how this thing is playing.
We've been down this road before, though, where the expectations...
No, it's not the same thing.
No.
You can't compare the Drew Gooden, John Salmons, Andrew Bogut team to what this team is.
Oh, the expectations the following year were very high. Let's face it.
I agree, but it's not the same from this aspect.
I agree.
John Salmons never should have been paid the money he was. I said it when they paid him. That was a waste of money. He had one good half a season. They overpaid for Drew Gooden, I said that too. Then who else did they get Maggette that year to come in too?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Maggette or Steven Jackson. One of those clowns came in as well. That also was a bad move. I think it was Maggette. And I said that was a bad move too. I didn't like that either. I hated that whole offseason that they did, trying to hurry up and get back and be better than next year.
They've accelerated the process on a couple occasions.
But with bad players. This time, they accelerated the process with the number 2 overall pick coming back from injury.
Right.
That's positive. I don't care how you look at that. And then they signed one of the top big man free agents that everybody else wanted to talk to. They got him to come to Milwaukee and Greg Monroe, taking on their first low-post offensive threat since Vin Baker. And you are this bad. Because again, this core of guys should be together for a while. Now, Monroe's got a player option after next year. Mm-hmm. So he can opt out after 2 years if he so chooses. But if this team stinks next year, they can just trade Monroe at the deadline to get something back.
Yeah. It's not, that's too far out to project for next year. I'm more curious.
Starting 5 comes back.
I'm very curious to see what happens after the All-Star break. If this team feels like it still can make a competitive run for the playoffs, or if they go into it, or if they go, yeah.
What do you mean after?
There's still 41 games to play. There's a lot of games to play. Plus, you and I talked about this. It's the Eastern Conference. We were talking about...
They have to win
2 weeks ago? We were talking about the Boston Celtics and how great they were playing. And did I not tell you? I said, you asked me what team's going to fall out of this thing. Boston has lost now, 4 straight?
Something like that, yep.
They're a good team. They're not a great team. And that holds true for all the teams that are...
They're a good team, but they're not as talented as the Bucks.
I agree.
The Bucks have more talent than Boston.
And that's why I'm saying the Bucks are capable of moving up. It still wouldn't shock me if they got the 8th spot. Not at all. Because, again, there's 41 games.
I don't want the 8th spot. If you're telling me I can have the 8th spot or be a lottery team, I'd rather be a lottery team. No, I don't want to go play Cleveland in the first round.
But
I have no interest. Now, you give me a 7. If I'm 7, we got a chance.
Why?
But they can't beat Cleveland.
No, I agree with
There's
that.
no way they're beating Cleveland.
No.
If you get 7 or 6, okay.
I'm not sure if there's anybody that can beat Cleveland.
I agree. Not in the East.
Yeah, but from a draft standpoint, it's really irrelevant. Actually, it would be good for the Bucks to get some more playoff experience. They need it, even if they get swept 4-0 or go down 4-1. The point is, if you go into the draft, they would end up with the 14th pick. Okay, if you don't
if they barely miss it.
Yeah, right, exactly. And if they make it, they get the 15th.
Right.
Who cares? It's really pretty irrelevant at that point.
Well, if you go to the lottery, you want to be top 8, top 7, somewhere in that area.
And you know what? I brought this up on SSP the other day. This is just a run-of-the-mill draft coming up. It's not a great draft. It's certainly not a great draft. It's a good draft. And if you look at Ben Simmons, it's clearly number 1. I talked to a longtime NBA scout the other day, and he goes, there is a, quote, glacial drop-off after number 1. And then I've talked to 4 other scouts since then, asked them who they thought would be the number 2 pick. 5 guys, 5 different players. Yep. So, it's like, yes, you'll get a good player, but it's not somebody that's going to come in and be an impact player.
Agreed. But see, the other point too is,
And that's at the top 5 or 6.
Right, but the other point is, at some point as an organization, you don't want those young kids anymore.
Correct.
You want to build with veterans.
Correct.
Because right now you have your starting 5, and then you have Vaughn and Henson. So your core is 7 as of right now, okay? So if you add another young player to go with that, now your core is 8, depending on who that player is going forward.
If you believe you're going to hold on to Henson, or if you believe you're going to hold on to MCW.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of balls being jumped around right now.
Because, like I said, Monroe has that player option. So if Monroe opts out, Henson could very well end up being your starting center at some point.
He could, but they could have decided they wanted to go with Henson right now as their starting center and not sign Monroe, and they opted not to.
Well, they opted.
And Henson was coming off a very good series against the Bulls.
Now, see, this is the argument I get with Bucks fans all the time.
Yeah.
Because there are a bunch of people already that want Monroe gone. And I'm totally against that.
I know, that's absurd.
Okay. But the reason is because they want a shot blocker back there. They don't care about post offense. What these people don't understand is you need, in my opinion, others may disagree,
right,
you need a post scorer of some sort.
Absolutely.
And you don't have one. Jabari's not it. Giannis isn't it. You need somebody to be able to go down there and score. And that's why I think Monroe is so critical. Even though he's not a shot blocker and his defense isn't all that good, he gives you a double-double every night. I was going over his numbers last night on the air, Gary. His field goal percentage is higher than his career average. His points per game is a point higher than his career average. I mean, he's having a good year based on his career numbers that you made him for.
Absolutely. And he plays hard. I mean, it's not like he's just showing up and going through
He
the emotions.
sometimes he's a little lackadaisical.
I think he plays pretty hard for a big guy. I really do. I mean, everybody has those moments where you don't put forth the effort. But overall, in the big picture, I think he's been a terrific pickup.
Yeah, I like Greg Monroe a lot. I'm a big fan, and that's what I wanted.
That's the least of their worries. You know what I mean?
But that's not how people view it. People think him and MCW, those two tend to be lightning rods with people. MCW by far is way up here, and then Monroe is like here second, and then Middleton is right in that area with Monroe as well.
Absolutely.
And that's where now Giannis and Parker are rolling free passes, and that's how we're going here. But again, if they're going to get to where they want to be,
they're in a honeymoon period. Let's face it; they're going to be given 2-3 years to show what they can do.
But they have to figure out how to be more consistent. And I said,
I love their development. I really do.
I said it last night on the radio. If you listen to like NBA radio, and reporters from different teams, it is amazing how many reporters all say the same thing. Team just doesn't play hard every night. They're trying to figure out how to get this team to play hard consistently. I heard a person in Chicago talking about the Bulls saying, under Hoiberg, they don't play hard every night, and it's driving Jimmy Butler crazy. Yeah. Okay,
that's a legitimate observation. Okay, no doubt.
But Tibbs is there, and they play hard every night, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then people are angry because, they're playing them too many minutes, they're wearing us out. Now Joakim Noah, one of those guys, he's coming off the bench. Guess what? Noah's not happy. Noah wants more minutes. Noah wants to start.
And he should. They definitely took a step back in the defensive department with the departure of Thibodeau.
But they improved the offense.
And you saw that already in preseason. I mean,
but the offense is better.
Yeah, they play more up
by far.
They play more up.
They shoot more threes.
Okay, let me throw this out at you. I've been thinking about this for a while. The other day, you asked me on the air about a potential rivalry between the Bulls and the Bucks and how it could be built up.
It clearly is, because MCW said it was, and Middleton said that this is a bigger game for them.
You know what would really put that series over the top?
Jimmy Butler to the Bucks?
You got the right idea, but the wrong person.
I don't want Derrick Rose.
No, I'm not saying a player.
I definitely don't want Noah.
I'm not saying a player.
You're not saying a player? Who?
Tom Thibodeau.
Oh.
Can you imagine if they brought Thibodeau in after the end of the season? How that would make that series, become very, very intense. It already is a good series already. But I'll tell you what, if you brought in Thibodeau, my goodness. There would be talk between the two teams.
I wouldn't be against that at all. I would be totally fine with that. If they hired Tibbs, I'd be good with that. Totally fine with it.
Something to chew on, because we all know Jason Kidd is not going to be the coach for maybe not beyond the season.
Tibbs.
Just throwing it out there.
I like it. I like Tibbs. All right, he's Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer from RacineSportsZone.com. The man with his head in his hands behind the camera is Greg Giesen.
Tell him to wake up. We have to end this segment.
See you next time.
We put him to sleep. We need Somonex.
See you next time at RacineSportsZone.com.